Hello guys, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today we're chatting about my summer TBR. I've got a sparkling water with pomegranate seeds to get me through this, a little summery drink of choice for me. Let's get into this. So I should begin by saying that I did a whole other video about the thrillers that I would really like to read this summer. That's a whole other video. I'm gonna link that somewhere for ya, so you can go and check that out. These books are not thrillers. A lot of contemporary here. Yeah, mostly contemporary. I have 6 books, desperate to read this summer. Will it happen? I have no idea, but I'm gonna make it my mission to do this. First up is If You Want to Make God Laugh by Bianca Moraes. I read Hum If You Don't Know the Words last year. Fell madly in love with that book. Bianca Moraes, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right because I love her. Anyway, she writes stories about characters that stay with you forever. I mean, at least that is how I felt with Hum If You Don't Know the Words. Those characters have a spot in my heart for the rest of my life. In this book, we're following actually several people. We follow 17-year-old Zadwa, who lives in poverty near Johannesburg. She is 8 months pregnant. And she's carefully guarding secrets that jeopardize her life. We also follow a very wealthy socialite named Ruth, and she's very wealthy. She can have anything she wants, except there is something that she can't have. The one thing that she can't have, I'm assuming maybe it's a baby. I could be wrong. We also follow Delilah, who's a disgraced former nun, and all of their storylines come together when they find an abandoned newborn baby. Specifically, Ruth and Delilah find the newborn baby. I'm assuming it's Zadwa's baby. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I just need to read this. She is such a gorgeous writer. I need her to be more well known. I know that Hum If You Don't Know the Words did well, but she's just next level good. Next level good. So yeah, I really want to read this summer. I would also like to read The Secret Life of Bees. So here is a historical fiction. We've got one on the list, I think. This is set in South Carolina in 1964. We follow Lily Owens, whose mother died very suddenly, and she is taken care of afterwards by Rosaline, who becomes kind of like a stand-in mother for her. She is black, and she insults 3 of the deepest racists in town. They feel like they need to go on the run. They probably do need to go on the run. So they leave their town and they go to Tiburon, South Carolina, and they're taken in by an eccentric trio of black beekeeping sisters. And I just need this in my life. There are several things in this that do remind me of Hum If You Don't Know the Words. My mom read this and loved this. I think this was one of her all-time favorite books. For a while at least. I haven't asked her if it's still on the list, but she has talked to me about this book many, many times. And it's short and sweet, like, my goodness. It's like not even 300 pages. I really think this would be the perfect thing to read in the summer. So I'm hoping to read this. Now there's something about Joanna Cannon that reminds me of summer as well. I read The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by her last summer. I read that with Amy Poole and we both really liked it. And it was about a town in like the sweltering heat of summer, and I just loved it, reading it out on my front porch and just, yes. So naturally I have to read 3 things about Elsie in the summer. I don't think that this takes place in the summer. If it does, I don't think it mentions it here. But we do follow this woman who we meet after she's fallen. She's waiting for help She's elderly, and I think she lives in a home. And as she waits to be rescued, she is thinking through this terrible secret from her past. There is a new resident that has come to the home, and she instantly recognizes him as a man who she thought died, I think 60 years ago. And she doesn't know whether it is the same man or not, like he was supposed to have died many, many years ago. Joanna Cannon writes mystery in this very accessible way. It's also got some lightheartedness usually, and a little bit of depth. It's like she marries those two things so beautifully in her writing, and I really want to read this summer. So yes, 3 things about Elsie. Let's see if I can do it. I was also thinking of picking up Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I haven't read a Kristen Hanna since The Nightingale, which I felt just okay about. I know that that is like loved, loved, loved. And for me it was just fine. But I am really hoping that I'll like this. This is about a young girl in 8th grade who just is not cool. And then the coolest girl in school shows up and wants to be her friend. And they become like fast best friends. And they are best friends for 30 years. Until there's an unexpected betrayal that completely tears them apart and puts their friendship to the ultimate test. And I would just like to know what that is. I mean, it starts in the summer of 1974. It just seemed summery to me, and I think I could fly through this. So I'm hoping to read this. I mean, how could I not put this on my list? I think this was on my spring TBR, but then it didn't show up for a long time. So it's moving over to summer, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six. This is about a band in the 70s, and yeah, 1979. We follow this group of interesting characters that form a band, but we're reading interviews with different band members, and so you'll get one take on what happened in their past, and then you'll get another take of what happened in their past, and they don't always match up, and I am super eager to read this. Everyone who's read it has loved it. And yeah, there's something again about this that just screams summer to me. I think of concerts when I think of summer, and just, it's going down, guys. It's going down. And finally, a book that no, it's not necessarily summery, but a book that Krista over at Books and Jams talked to me about, that just instantly made me want to read it, is What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty. I do associate reading Liane Moriarty with the summer. I have certain authors that I do that with. What is that about? Kate Morton is the spring. Liane Moriarty is the summer. Anyway, does anyone else do that? Because I apparently do this. We follow Alice, and she wakes up on the floor of her gym, and she goes to the hospital, and she discovers that she has lost 10 years of her life. Like, in her head, she's 29, totally in love with her husband, and she's pregnant with their first child. In reality, she is about to get divorced, and she has 3 kids, and she has to kind of sort out what happened. Why is she getting a divorce? She's like madly in love. This, I think, explores miscarriage. I think that's what Krista said, and I am always interested in that. That is a subject matter that I think should be written about more, for women, so that it's not, well, so that you don't feel completely alone. Sometimes seeing yourself in books and the things that you go through in books helps you get through the thing a little bit. Because people aren't always very, very raw with you, with their own experiences. They usually get to the other side and then will lift you up, which is, oh my goodness, so unbelievably necessary. Sometimes you need to see the rawness to go, okay, I'm not crazy for thinking these things. Okay, that person also felt these things, and you get to see it. like in motion basically. And so I would really like to read this as well this summer. So whew, those are the books that I'm hoping to read this summer. I have a lot considering like my thriller summer TBR and then this TBR. It's a lot. We'll see if I can get to them all. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should read like one, put like one way ahead of the others. I'm assuming Daisy Jones might be your answer, but maybe not. You might surprise me. Also, let me know what you're planning on reading this summer, and I will talk with you soon. Bye!